Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
On today's episode, we are going to answer a question from a listener that is basically going to have us choose between two programs on the rise. And so that question from Troy Grube is, who will beat Alabama first, Arkansas or Ole Miss?
I'm going to lean with Ole Miss on this one. You know, Arkansas, they've been very solid, but I'm wondering if they maybe have a slightly lower ceiling than Ole Miss at the moment. I mean, it's tough because historically Arkansas has a better history, but I'm just kind of looking at it today with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. And each year that goes by with this question, though, you run the risk of Ole Miss losing Lane. I'm talking about going in the future. If it were to happen this year, if either team were to beat Alabama, I like Ole Miss because Alabama plays their big game at LSU the week before, and they play them in mid-November, a second road game in a row. Whereas Arkansas, they draw Bama the week after the Tide plays at home to Vanderbilt. So they're not going to be limping into that one. And then when I just look in terms of the programs, I think, you know, Kiffin has really elevated the recruiting, and with his transfer portal prowess now, the talent's improved going into the year. He won 10 games a year ago. New Year's Six Bowl, he developed Matt Corral into a great quarterback. Think he could maybe do the same with Jackson Dart. The defense has shown some improvement. I think Arkansas is more consistent, but Ole Miss might have the higher potential this moment.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, I like the future of both programs. Sam Pittman has done a great job with Arkansas. He's proved me wrong. I didn't think it was going to look as good as it has, at least so far. And he's done a decent job recruiting. I know it's not quite to the level of Ole Miss, which is why I have to agree with Trey. When you consider the fact that, you know, this overall recruiting, when you consider the transfer portal and the high school recruits, overall, this year is 14th for Ole Miss, and 21st for Arkansas, I think. And then the year before, it was like 17th and 25th, respectively. So Ole Miss is it's about 7-8 spots ahead consistently, which is a pretty sizable difference. I mean, Arkansas could still be better obviously at some points, but in the end, I think you have to go with a slightly better squad there in the recruiting front. And then Ole Miss has it's proof in the pudding as far as having a really good year on the field, 10-2 already. So Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's proven to be a good coach. It's so close. Somebody could easily make an argument for Arkansas, and I would be like, yep, I can totally buy that. But to just have to split hairs here, and I got to pick Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's why we chose this question to do a video on, because it is very close. Both programs headed in the right direction. As far as recruiting, Arkansas, I will say, is off to a great start for their 2023 class. Very, very early, but I think
Ole Miss has one commit, 4-star. So,
yeah. It's hard to project at this point, but I do think that gap is going to close. I think they're moving forward. I don't know who's going to recruit better. I think it's kind of a toss-up. I think Arkansas in the NIL era, that could help them. If, of course, got a pretty passionate fan base. So,
yeah.
But yeah. So it's hard to choose. I'm gonna lean Ole Miss as well, just because of Lane Kiffin. I think I just slightly right now prefer him as a coach. I trust that his teams are going to be really good, no matter who the coordinators are. It's so early into Sam Pittman's tenure that just his career as a head coach that I don't know. We'll see if Kendall Briles leaves or Barry Odom, then I don't know. Can he replace them? Maybe, but it's a little bit of an unknown at least. And I just think the way Lane Kiffin coaches gives him maybe a little bit better chance for big upsets, because there was just an article on ESPN.com, I think a couple days ago about this, that Lane Kiffin is at the forefront of being aggressive and going for it on fourth down and being optimal with those decisions. And so when he goes up against Bama in particular, he knows that you really need to take huge risks. And 2 years ago, they went for it a bunch on fourth down. It worked out. They almost won. Last year, it didn't work out and they got crushed. So that's kind of what happens. It's going to be high variance, but that's good for an underdog. You want those high variance decisions. So he, in general, goes for it. I think more than twice as much as Sam Pittman does. So that's just a small little edge that I'll give to Ole Miss.
Yep. It's close, man. But who do you think is going to win the SEC West first? Is that a same answer here?
Yeah, this is all kind of a similar question, whether it's beat Bama or or who's gonna win the most games moving forward. I feel like you're just choosing like which program do you like better, and under their current coach, and I'm just leaning slightly towards Ole Miss, but I don't know. I mean, because the teams this year too, like when they play each other, the spread is going to be very small. Arkansas and Ole Miss, like these teams are just so even that it's hard to separate. But anyway, let us know in the comments below who you would pick. And thanks for watching this episode of the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe and like this video. We're trying to grow the show, so we'd appreciate that. And we'll see you next time.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.